It's the office block that one London council controversially spent over £100 million on. Now, BBC London has learnt that just 3 years later, they're considering moving out. One government minister has described it as an amazing waste of money, but the council insists its plans for the building are good value for the taxpayer. Mark Ashdown has more.
Newham Town Hall was opened in 1903 by King George V and Queen Mary, and for 100 years has been at the heart of democracy in this borough. But 3 years ago, Newham moved its services from 26 similar old buildings dotted across the borough. Meetings are still held here, but all other council business is now under one roof. And this is that one roof, Building 1000, next door to London City Airport. And frankly, it wouldn't look out of place as the swanky headquarters of a multinational corporation. It was aimed at saving £50 million over a few years, but cost £111 million to buy and refurbish. Eyebrows were raised at some of the extravagance. 10 light fittings, for example, cost £1,800 each. This from one of the country's poorest boroughs. Now BBC London has learned that plans are afoot to move some, if not all, of the services back out again. Former councillor Mike Law is just one of those who are totally perplexed.
It strikes me as an absurdity that so much money, you're talking about over £111 million was spent on the building only a few years down the line to make the decision to move out. And what that money could have been spent on with regard to services that have been cut, it would just mean that there's a lot of money that's been wasted on an exercise that's pretty futile.
Not so, says the council. They've saved money already, and moving out to lease this building to big companies can, they say, save even more.
Inevitably, the way that councils spend money is open to public scrutiny, and quite rightly so, and our residents will want to reassure themselves that we're spending every penny of their council tax on services for them. And this is.
And are you? Is this a good spend of money?
Absolutely. As I say, this was a commercial investment. It made business sense at the time, and it continues to make business sense today.
Cuts from central government have inevitably come up as another factor.
They get far more money than the average even for London, let alone England, per house to spend. And yet they are seeming to spend it on fancy projects for themselves. And as I say, when you're spending that kind of money just on light fittings and £111 million on a building, residents who are looking for good quality frontline services and low council tax will rightly be asking quite difficult questions of the council.
Voters will be the ultimate judge of all this. Meanwhile, some interesting real estate is already up for lease on the web, fixtures and fittings included. Mark Ashdown, BBC London News.